Hello and welcome to day 20 of my coach trip vlog, and of coach trip the final one, I guess. Anyway, so I have a shout out for Jackie McCarthy. Hi, how you doing there? You're my last shout out of this vlog, coach trip. So there we go. Now, yep, it's all over. We got voted out. And yeah, I guess so. The hotel that we stayed in the night before we got voted out was amazing. It was very old school. Had this, came in to this area and had like a stairs that took you up to the sleeping areas and this huge balcony that, it was an amazing place. And we went out for some drinks and some bars with everybody, and it was really weird. It was really weird because you could see that Scooch were placing themselves in particular areas, so they weren't sitting together at any point when we moved from bar to bar. They weren't sitting together. They were sitting with everybody else. You know, they were positioning themselves with couples so they could talk with them. And it was really weird because they had something in common with everybody. So they had something in common with everybody, which was really weird. And myself and Tam were like, that's a bit strange. So yeah, we didn't like Scooch. They didn't like us. So yeah, that was it. I mean, the thing is, Paul and Matt obviously liked them very much, and there we go. Like I said, it's unfortunate that they fell for their charm and what they were doing, and the girls had told us to look after each other, and obviously Paul and Matt didn't do that. But it is what it is. It's a game, you know. At the end of the day, they played the game well. They went from the strongest of us on the coach to the next strongest. So they kind of just moved over. They migrated, which is a fair game at the end of the day. They wanted to migrate, and they do like we're friends with Scooch. You know, they like that kind of notoriety. So we had to wait for quite a while before we went into the concentration camp at this really dodgy bar, and we had to leave the bar because it was very smoky. I mean, when I say smoky, I mean I smoke, but it was incredibly smoky. And it was really weird for the girls because we went in there, like, the girls wanted to go to the toilet and there was no toilet for the girls. There was no toilet, and the guys were like, you can come in here with me, and it was just a bit creepy, so we had to leave there. The concentration camp was shocking and horrifying. It was, to go there, it was absolutely amazing. I didn't know about this the triangle, which distinguished a homosexual person. I didn't know about this triangle, and Brendan informed me about it. But yeah, it was absolutely mental. There was also, in the solitary confinement sections upstairs, they had these the rooms that you could stay in, that you were put into. But at the same time, they put barbed wire down on the floor, the entirety of the floor, so the person couldn't sit down. If they fell asleep, they would obviously stab themselves. It was very horrific to watch. And also, there's lots of paintings in there that kids of that time drew. Because 142 people tried to escape at one point. I think it was in February, and what happened was they saw them, and the Germans shot them, and as they shot them trying to get over the fence, they created like a human like bridge. So then other people were clambering over their loved ones to get away, and I think at the end of it, 45 people actually got away. At that point, they built the brick enclosure around that place, because it didn't have a brick enclosure. It just had a wood enclosure to begin with, a wooden fencing enclosure to begin with barbed wire. And then the Germans got really angry at the fact that they'd lost 45 people, and decided to build the higher brick turrets and stuff like that. Yeah, I was actually ill that day. They didn't show that. I was actually really ill that day because there was a bug going around the coach, and I wasn't able to interact with anybody. And I even went to the chemist to get lozenges to help my throat. I wasn't in a good way. I had to go outside a couple of times. We went for lunch. It was just so hot there as well, and I just felt so ill. So I wasn't able to interact. So that's what kind of cottoned me on to the fact that we could be going, because I wasn't able to interact with anybody. And we talked to Paul and Matt as well before the interview that one of the camera guys made us do. Paul and Matt, we talked to them, and they were like, oh, we don't want to vote Scooch, we don't want to vote Scooch. Now, we we knew that we were going home. So we got to the hotel and we knew it. We just knew it. We spoke to the boys and I said to the boys, you know, if we don't vote, like you heard, if we don't vote, we're going home. And Paul was like, really? Really? Okay. And so yeah, we got into the hotel room. We just sat there, had a drink, and you know, Tam said to me, "What you doing?" I said, "Not unpacking." He said, "Neither am I." We didn't bother. In the vote, right? Lynn comes up with something. I don't know what it is about. Couldn't even look us in the eye. I honestly do not have any idea to this day what she was talking about. And I think maybe she kind of obviously just made it up so she could vote, because I honestly don't know what she's talking about. Bearing in mind that that day I was, like I said, I was quite ill, I wasn't focusing, so maybe that's what she means, that because I was ill she was upset with that, but I don't know. And yeah, so I don't know what she was talking about. When the votes came around, I said, you know, sorry guys, I've been ill. Haven't been able to interact with anybody. Tam's had to spread himself quite thin across everybody, and it's just very, very hard to do. What also happened was, when Tam was like, you know, you'll all get yellow cards eventually, he was talking to Scooch and to Lynn and Becky, because, yeah, he didn't like Scooch. He didn't like Scooch. I didn't like Scooch. We did not like Scooch. And after Becky and Lynn's comment about not being able to look in the eye, we didn't understand what they were talking about, and we labelled that as, I have no idea what you're talking about, you know. Yes, I don't know why in one of the interviews at the end, Paul and Matt were like, oh, you know, don't know what to say really, don't know what to say. You knew it was coming, we told you, you knew it was going to happen, don't act shocked now. It's just really weird. That was a little insulting because we'd already told you, so it's not really a shock. If we're not shocked and we're the ones happening, why would you be? I was ready to go home. I was definitely ready to go home. It wasn't fun, overly fun anymore. Scooch was doing my head in. The girls had gone. You know, it's not how it used to be in the first 3 weeks. It just turned and went downhill. So I was ready to go home. I didn't even call Mark. I actually came home, and Mark was actually out with his mates, and I called him from my mobile. And I said, oh, I found a place where it's actually working. Go home, and then I'll call you on the landline. And he came home, and I was waiting here in the room, and he was like, oh my god. So it was really nice. We, as usual, that wasn't our suitcases that we dragged out. Obviously, we came back in, and we went upstairs, and we had dinner, and we had drinks sent to us, because I didn't want to go downstairs and socialise with those people. Any of them, apart from Carly and Ange, who I would have loved to have socialised with. But I didn't want to socialise with any of them really, because you know, I was ready to go home. I could segregate myself. It's not nice to see the people. We'd experienced seeing people afterwards, and we didn't want to see them again. The crew waited for a reaction. Yeah, they waited for reaction. When we got all the votes and they'd all been cast, they just waited, and they wanted bickering. And again, like with the Bruce and John thing, we didn't. We just said, Brendan, you can come in, just give us the yellow cards. So we waited probably for about 10 minutes with just, you know, banter, but they wanted us to start screaming and bitching and whining. There's no need. Brendan said that I looked shocked. Brendan can't read anybody, evidently. He doesn't understand people, I don't think, because, as I said, I was not shocked at all. I knew it was coming. I knew it was. Tam's Z-list celebrity snipe that he said it so Scooch could hear him. Scooch was around the corner, and he was very angry at Scooch, which is understandable. But yeah, it is what it is. It happens, and I'm glad that it's happened. It's been a really long, rough 4 weeks, and I'm so glad that all you guys were here. And I want to say a big thank you to everybody who has watched my blog, and everybody who will. You know, and just thank you so much. So to celebrate the end of my blog era, I bought a bottle of pink champagne today, and I'm gonna pop that shit and drink it down. You know I love to drink, but there are no sausages because I don't eat them. So guys, I'm bowing out. I'm going to be doing movie reviews, definitely, because now I can focus all my time in it, and I want to start topical debates, which is really cool. And my website will be up soon, and that will feature interviews with independent bands across London, and also fashion designers and stuff like that. So guys, I love you so much, and thank you. Bye bye.